initiation, the trailblazer that she is, setting the pace for all of us. Thank you very much. We welcome His Holiness Indradyumna Swami. Hare Krishna. Okay, we can't hear you yet, Maharaj.
I can't hear him. Vashishika Prabhu, can you hear me now?
Yes, Maharaj, we can hear you, and we're very thankful that we can. Hare Krishna.
With your permission, I will begin.
Please, Maharaj.
Panchakalpa Turubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Be'evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Well, what a wonderful, wonderful occasion this is. All of us just observed the most auspicious appearance of our very dear Lord Nrsingadev. And I'm sure there you also had a wonderful function. Generally in the material world, when there's a big function, whatever happens afterwards is anticlimactic. But that's not true in devotional service. In Krishna consciousness, it just gets better. It just gets better. So this is something very wonderful today that we're welcoming these two devotees into our sampradaya. I would like to welcome everyone to this ceremony. In particular, my distinguished godbrothers and godsisters who are present in different parts of America, and some devotees watching from Europe, etc. But as far as America is concerned, we'll move east to west by following the rising sun. From Philadelphia, Dallas, Tucson, we have Haryashva Prabhu, Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, and Jivananda Prabhu. Thank you so much for being present with us. And of course, we have our Madhavan and his good wife.
The recording has stopped.
Welcome. And as we turn westwards to the west coast, to ISV.
This meeting is being recorded.
My esteemed and very highly revered godbrother, Vaisheshika Prabhu. And Guru Mata. And a very special mention today to Shiv Kumar and Mother Manjula Kanta, the parents of a wonderful young lady who we're initiating today, Sweka, unofficially my cupcake girl, and all the assembled devotees who are watching. Shakala Vaishnava Pare, Mora Namaskara, Ite Kichu Aparara, Nahuka Amara. Hoyachan Hoivan Prabhu, Jatu Bhakta Vrinda, Bandana Korishabara Charanara Vinda. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas, praying that I may not commit offenses in my attempts to please them. To all Vaishnavas who have ever been, and all Vaishnavas who will ever be, I offer my obeisances to your lotus feet. This is a beautiful prayer by a devotee who lived several hundred years ago. His name was Devaki Nandana Das. One of my favorite shlokas, actually. So today, we're going to begin this auspicious function with the traditional purification ritual, which we do each time we do these initiation ceremonies. And we'll be chanting one mantra from the Garuda Purana 3 times. But each time we do that, before, the initiates will take an Ajman cup. And I'll just teach you first. You don't have to do it now. You'll take the spoon in your left hand, and then you'll put 3 drops in your right hand. And each time you'll chant a different mantra. I'll teach you the mantra. Then you'll sip that water. And then you'll put 1 drop of water in your right hand and throw it to the side. Even though we're sipping and becoming purified because the lips touch the hands, it's considered impure. So 1 drop and then to the side. I heard Prabhupada say one time that Brahman means that even after drinking water, he washes his hands. That's how clean a Brahman is. Even after drinking water, then he washes his hands. So we'll be chanting this this mantra now. A second. We'll chant it first, and then we'll do the ritual. Everyone can repeat after me. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Varvavastam Gatopiva Ya Smaret Pundarikaksham Sa Vaya Vayantara Suchi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. Hare Krishna. So this is a very wonderful mantra from the from Garuda Purana. The translation is either pure or impure, or having passed through all conditions of material life. If one can remember the lotus-eyed Krishna, he becomes externally and internally cleansed. So at this point, the initiates can take that spoon and put the drops of water in your right hand. And you can say, where's my piece of paper? Om Keshavaya Namaha. You look at the water, Om Keshavaya Namaha, then you sip. And then like we said, 1 drop to the right like that. Okay? We're going to do this 2 more times. Please repeat after me. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Ya Smaret Punarikaksham Sa Vaya Vayantara Suchi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. Okay, so now take the spoon again in the right hand and you look at the water and you infuse it with transcendental potency by saying Om Narayanaya Namaha. And then you sip. And 1 drop to the hand on the right. Okay, 1 more time. Then we're purified within and without. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Ya Smaret Pundarikaksham Sa Vaya Vayantara Suchi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. Hare Krishna. Okay. So now you take 3 drops in the right hand. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha. All right. So now at this point, the devotees can help the initiates put on their new neck beads, and we'll honor them for all the wonderful service they've done and this great commitment they're taking by putting garlands on them. And while they're doing that, we will chant Hare Krishna, all of us, because Prabhupada said, if you've got time, chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Premanandi. Well, thank you, everyone. I'll give a little talk today as is traditional at these events, and I will also call upon my senior godbrother, Rashashika Prabhu, who I often listen to. And then I repeat what I hear that he said, and I try to chant the shlokas like him so people can think I'm a good preacher. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatati Satarne. Glories to Srila Prabhupada, that master. At his feet, all the masters said. So, again, this is a very auspicious day. We are welcoming these very wonderful souls. I know their hearts, so I know they're very wonderful souls. Officially into our Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. But a little bit more closer to home, we're welcoming them into the greater family of Srila Prabhupada and our International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Madhavan and Sweka. I almost said their initiated names. I've been meditating on it for a long time. So someone said to me yesterday, but Maharaj, why didn't you do this ceremony on an actual holy day, like Lord Nrsingadev's appearance? That would have been nice, but actually for a Vaishnava and a Vaishnavi, every day is auspicious. How is that? Because we're all engaged one way or another in the 9 processes of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Shmaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandham, Daksam, Sakyam, Nivedanam. Our acharyas have designed this movement in such a way that you can be engaged 24/7, 365 for 1 century, if you're serious. Of course, if you want to deviate, there's always room, but we don't want to do that. We're eager to become Krishna conscious. So we wholeheartedly embrace these 9 processes. In particular, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Krishna Shmaranam. Hearing, then chanting, produces Krishna Shmaranam. And that's the essence of Krishna consciousness. To always remember Krishna and never forget him. So although we may not actually be able to do that. We're practitioners, and practice makes perfect. The only way you can really always remember someone is if you hate them or you love them. Just like Kamsa, technically he was very Krishna conscious. Conscious means to be aware of. He was aware of Krishna all the time because he'd heard that oracle in the sky that the eighth son of your sister Devaki will be your death, Krishna. So he's always, even in dream, he was fearful. But as Rupa Goswami says, that's not favorable devotional service. We want to think of Krishna favorably, so we have to learn to love Krishna. And love takes time to grow. There's that saying, love at first sight. What? It's more like lust at first sight. Not really love. Love is something very deep. It must be cultivated, especially in the transcendental platform. So in the beginning, we have some attraction for Krishna because he's all attractive. And then we develop some appreciation for him, and then that evolves into affection, and then love comes. So it takes some practice, but practice makes perfect. And we're practicing from the day we come in contact with this movement and we take up the process. We're practicing one of the processes with Krishna consciousness. Even if we're just working, our hard-earned money goes to spreading Krishna consciousness. If we're raising children, those are the Vaishnavas, the soldiers, the lieutenants, the generals for the future in Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan movement. It's all connected. Samkirtan means the complete glorification of the Lord. Sam means complete. Kirtan means to glorify. So ISKCON's a great movement of many parts and parcels. Many hands make small work. So why didn't we do this? Why didn't we take advantage of the Shringa Day's appearance day? Yes, that's nice. But this day is no less auspicious if we're Krishna conscious. If we're engaged in devotional service. In the Burihan Naradiya Purana, beautiful verse I found the other day. Jivanti janta vasharave yatama tanam ashrita tata bhaktam samasuritya sarva jivanti shidhaya. Just as all living beings live under the shelter of their mothers, all perfections live under the complete shelter of devotional service. What a verse. Just as all living beings live under the shelter of their mothers, all perfections live under the complete shelter of devotional service. And what's more, we can say any day is auspicious for initiation because this day is the turning point of our material existence. Today, we turn our back on material nature. No. Ordinarily, if you turn your back on someone, that's very offensive. If you turn your back on somebody, isn't it? You turn your face away. It's called Bahirmukha. We did that one time in the spiritual world. We turned our face from Krishna. Bahirmukh. Go to the material world, you rascal. Just as lightning and thunder happen simultaneously, it's described in Prema Vivarta. As soon as we turned our face from Krishna, Bahirmukh, San Jose, Moscow, Sydney, where am I? What did I do? Turned your face. But we can do that. In Krishna consciousness, we can turn our back on material existence. When our backs to Krishna, we see the shadow of material existence. When we turn around to Krishna by following the path our spiritual masters have outlined for us, we see the sunshine of Krishna. A shadow comes when you block something. So when we block our loving relationship with Krishna, we see the shadow, the darkness of material. We light some candles, we put on some lights, okay, but it's not the real thing. In the spiritual world, everything's self-effulgent. So today, these two beautiful devotees, they're turning their back. Prabhupada told a material existence. Prabhupada told my godbrother Sasarup Maharaj when he was taking sannyas. He gave him the danda, He said, Satsarup Goswami, never look back and think you've left anything valuable behind, and never envy the position of the materialistic sense enjoyers. Eke Kudunandana. Just like a sailor is going across the ocean. He's in the ocean, he's taking care of the boat, he's varnishing the deck, he's repairing the sails. He's looking at the sextant to see where he's very conscientious. But he never thinks he's a creature of the water. He's on the water and he's niti shastra. He knows how to live there to survive. But he doesn't think that he's a creature of the water. He's always thinking of the destination. Even he can't see it. He knows from previous sailors, he knows from the Capitan, that there is land ahead. So although he's working in his heart, he's always thinking of that land as he crosses over the ocean. Land ho! He sees that. So we're like that. We're on the ocean of material existence. We're very attentive to our various dharmas, our body. God has given us this body. We can chant Hare Krishna, not like a donkey or an elephant. We take good care of this body. We have family. We have society. We pay our taxes. We have our world. We're conscious of the environment. We do those things. But what's the heartbeat? Vrindavan, 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 Vrindavan. When I was young and I lived in the Bay Area, I have to come back. In the Bay Area, we have a beach across the Golden Gate Bridge. It's called Stinson Beach. And that's where I spent most of my high school years. Sorry. And we used to surf there. I know that beach very well. And Prabhupada went there one time with some disciples while he was in San Francisco for a morning walk. And they were walking along the beach and the waves were breaking. Pretty good waves. Stinson Beach. They were breaking. And then Prabhupada said, "What's that sound?" And devotee said, "Oh, Prabhupada, that's the sound of the waves breaking on the shore." Prabhupada said, "No." "Yes, Prabhupada." "No." Prabhupada sees things different. He said, "That's the sound of the gopis' heartbeats and separation from Krishna." That's the sound of the gopis' heartbeats, separation from Krishna. So that boom, 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 that has to be there. That's called lolium. That's the greed that we get. It will come. Krishna consciousness is the most natural thing in existence. Everything else is artificial. So that will come in time, and we look forward to that time. When will that day be mine? When I'm constantly aware of the goal of getting back home to Sri Vrindavan Dham and wrestling with Krishna in the sands of Ramanreti, walking through the forest with the divine couple, partaking of a nice lunch prashadam under a banyan tree with Krishna and Balaram. These things, this is not mythology, Prabhupada said. This is absolute truth. So this is the point where the initiates turn their back on material existence. And it's a turning point in the sense that before we came in contact with this great institution, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which is the movement destined to change the world in the next 10,000 years. Before we met devotees, it was all downhill. We fell from grace, and even if we're Brahma, with all due respect, the position of Brahma is a downfall. Our Brahma is a pure devotee, of course, but Brahma's in the material world, birth, disease, old age, and death. So the highest position in the material world is also a fall down. So we're falling, a little up sometimes, we're falling. Brahmanda Brahmati Konya, Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prashad, Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. Somebody saw us falling. And they intervened. Krishna and his representatives, they intervened. Stop. Where are you going? I'm going to the store to buy some groceries. Just look at this book. I don't have time. No, look, just take a moment. You fall down. Look at this book. I'm not interested. Come on. And you give a big smile, and they buy your smile. All right, here's a couple of bucks. They get a book. You've intervened. They go home, they read it. They start taking up the process of Krishna consciousness. Then they come to the point of initiation. So it's down, 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 down. You meet the devotees, you get serious, you take initiation, you start going up. What does that look like? Smile. Oh, happy days. This is the happiest day of the initiates since they fell from grace. It is. This is the happiest day. Because if we stick to the process, it's sure and certain we'll make the goal. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said in 1934, I see no reason why all my disciples can't go back to Godhead in one lifetime. So that's his blessing, but the onus is on us. We have to keep our mind fixed. We can't, we can see so many things, but in our heart of hearts, we know who we are and we know where we're going. Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pasyanti Suryo Diviva Chakshur Atatam. One of my favorite verses. Just as the sun's rays in the sky are extended to the mundane vision, so in the same way, the wise and learned devotees always see the supreme abode of Lord Vishnu. Because those highly praiseworthy and spiritually awake Brahmanas are able to see the spiritual world, they're also able to reveal that supreme abode of Lord Vishnu. So we look. So a big smile. So my point is, any day to turn your back on illusion. The Tattva Shagara, a very esoteric shastra, but very important. It says, Durlabe Sadguru Namcha Sakrit Sangha Upastite. Ta Anusa Yadi Labda Sadikshava Mahan. If by chance one gets a Sadguru, it doesn't matter whether one is in the temple or the forest. If the Sadguru, the bona fide spiritual master, agrees, one can be initiated immediately without waiting for a suitable time and place. What a verse. So technically, well, not technically, as a metaphor, the ceremony is compared to second birth. With all due respect to the parents, first birth is birth into the womb of material nature. And somehow or other we celebrate that every year. Of course, I read recently Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that Vaishnavas, we should celebrate Vaishnavas' birthdays. Why? Because they're using their human form of life in the right way to become devotees. But in general, it's nothing to celebrate. How do we know? Well, between birth and death, there's a lot of disease and old age and a lot of stress and anxiety, a lot of problems. Prabhupada, he was so poetic. He said, material life means problematic. Or eloquence is truth spoken concisely, Krishna says. He simply says, Dukhalayam Ashvashvatam. This is a temporary place full of suffering. So to find an alternative. So we take birth, and Krishna says also, for one who has taken his birth, Phalina Parichate, you judge something by the result. For one who has taken birth, what's the result? He said, for one who has taken birth, death is certain. And after death, birth is certain. So it's not a good bargain. But this birth, this second birth, this spiritual birth, this is something to celebrate. Because you're going home. You've been on vacation too long. Whoever really enjoys their vacations, you get sunburned, you spend all your money, you're in the traffic, you enjoy for a few minutes. By the end of the vacation, everyone wants to go home. So you're going home. You're going home. And we're going to help you get there. I always promise my disciples that, whoever I am, I promise them that I will place them very safely at Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet in the spiritual world. And he will guide us through Vrindavan Dham. So this is a birth to celebrate. I was at a lecture one time Prabhupada gave, and in the lecture, I remember Prabhupada saying, deathlessness begins at the moment of initiation. Sometimes when we hear the spiritual master speak, it's almost like we can fall over. You're thinking in the class, right? Was he speaking to me? So many times the students come up, Guru Maharaj, that whole class, were you speaking to me? Another devotee will come, you were speaking to me, right? No, you were speaking. Because it's the absolute truth. It applies to everyone. How to get out of the material world into the spiritual world. So this is, deathlessness begins the moment of minute. This is real birth. So you can say in a humorous way, like, next year on this day, someone will say, could you please fill this card out? How old are you? I'm 1 year old. What do you mean you're 1 year old? You look like you're in your 20s. No, I'm 1 year old. This was the day I took initiation. That's real. So how does the process work? How do we get born? Well, just like the father, the husband plants the seed of life in the womb of his wife, conception, and a child appears. It's actually mystical when you think about it. So in the same way, not the same way, but in a similar way, at the time of initiation, the spiritual master, he awakens the seed of Bhakti Lata Bij, which is in the heart of the disciple. Father plants the seed of life into the womb of his wife. The spiritual master awakens the seed of spiritual life in the heart of the disciple at initiation. Because that seed is always there. Even in the bug and the cockroach and the spider and the devata, that seed of love of God is not something that we get from another place, that we purchase it or work for it, or it's given, it's already there. It's like in your house, in the furnace, there's a pilot light. And although the furnace is not working, the pilot light's always on. They always tell you when you go away on vacation, blow out the pilot light just to be safe. But you can't blow out Krishna Prema in the heart of a living entity. It's eternally there. It's called Bhakti Lata Bij. It's a seed. It's always there, but it's dormant, very dormant. Brahmanda Bhavatika Om Bhaktivanji, through many millions of lifetimes. But how can a seed just remain dormant? Seeds grow. Well, you go to the local store, with the gardening store, what they call them, the nursery, and you go in and on the shelf, there's little packs of seeds. They could have been there for years. The seeds could have been there for years. But you purchase them, you take them home in the springtime, you plant them in the fertile ground, you water them, voila. It's also, everything's miraculous. One time Prabhupada said the whole material world's miraculous. We just take it for granted. It's all mysterious. How it works in the Lord's direction. The scientists would do well to see that mystical nature, material nature, that they can learn from our devotee scientists. So seed is there and you water it and it grows. So the dormant seed of bhakti is in the heart of the disciple. So the spiritual master says, water it. What does that mean? You drink an extra 2 liters of water every day? No. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Seed starts to grow immediately from the first day. That sound vibration is so powerful. I've said many times the last few weeks, because we did a few other initiations. Prabhupada said in Kali Yuga, two things don't lose their potency. Everything else deteriorates according to that famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Kalera dosha nidhe raja asti eka mahaguna. Nothing good left in this world. Everything's deteriorating. But Prabhupada said two things don't deteriorate in Kali Yuga. That the potency of jewels and mantras. Jewels retain their potency. Somehow or other, I guess it's just Krishna's plan. Astrologers, they recommend a certain jewel to, counteract the influence of this planet. Really, all you have to do is chant Hare Krishna. Because the demigods are working under the supervision of Krishna. You just chant Hare Krishna, everything, all the bad things will go away. But jewels have great potency, and mantras. They never lose potency. They never diminish. So what mantra are we as Gaudiya Vaishnavas chanting? There's thousands of mantras. We're blessed. We're chanting the Maha Mantra, which Prabhupada says, the great chant for deliverance. The great chant for deliverance. Everything's there, all in one. That's right, all in one. So traditionally, the spiritual master, he would chant the mantra to activate the seed in the heart of the disciple, the prem, by chanting the mantra in the right ear. So by the grace of science and technology, we're chanting the mantra, and the disciples are sitting there hearing it in the right ear. So everything's done, don't worry, it's all accomplished. And if the disciple regularly chants with attention, Prabhupada said, sit properly. You focus and you chant in a mood of humility, asking for grace, perfection will come. It's proven through the ages. Even Jagai and Madhai made it. So if they made it, we can make it. But you have to take the prescription as it's written on the bottle. I learned the hard way when I had a really bad infection a couple of years ago in India. The doctor gave me some antibiotics, for 9 days. I took them for 7 days and I felt better. It says on the bottle, finish the prescription, all 9 days. I threw the bottle away at 7 days. Infection came back. Because the little nasties were still there somewhere in my bloodstream. So when we get this mantra, we have to chant it the prescribed way, 32 syllables. One time my godbrother, Apusta Krishna Prabhu, who's joined Srila Prabhupada in his pastimes in the spiritual world, he told me he was chanting with Prabhupada. He was Prabhupada's secretary. And they were chanting together somewhere in India. And Apusta Krishna was like really, trying to chant nicely in front of Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram. Prabhupada said, what kind of nonsense are you chanting? Like, what? Prabhupada said, what kind of nonsense? I said, Prabhupada, I'm chanting the Mahamudra. You're not chanting. You're leaving out some syllables. It's not Ram, it's Rama. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sometimes the devotees chant Ramo, like we worship Ramo Chandra, Lord Ramo Chandra. We worship Ramachandra. This is a science. We have to be connoisseurs of this very high culture that we have and do everything pakka. So, Pusa Krishna, he told me, he said, every time he chants the Maya, you always remember Prabhupada. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So like that, these are things that you can remember upon chanting, and perfection will come. Again, it comes in stages. We can't expect something overnight. That's the karmis. I want it all and I want it now. No, you have to work for it. Work now, samadhi later. Samadhi will come by blessings. We're just grateful that our spiritual master saved us from the drowning in material existence. The rest will come. As that came, the rest will also come. If you grab onto the beginning of a rope and you keep going, you'll come to the end of the rope. So this process will bring perfection in stages. What's the first stage? Keto darpana marjanam. All the bad things in the heart. Yeah, but I have bad cholesterol. No. What are the three gates leading to hell? Lust, anger, and greed. And like tsunami, you've seen the videos. That's the power of this mantra by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A tsunami. But I still have desires. Yeah, because you've been here a long time. Millions of verse. So it takes time. So therefore, Rupa Goswami said, in the process of devotional service, to be a little patient. Just like when a girl gets married, she wants a child. Well, first she has to get pregnant, and then she has to wait 9 months, Prabhupada said. So we have enough mercy to be grateful for now, to take advantage, to relish. Be patient and the rest will come. So karma is destroyed. Then where did the karma come from? Material desires. And the mantra will uproot those material desires and throw them to the 10th dimension, never to be seen again. And if we keep chanting, prema will come. You can only get prema if you're initiated into the mantra. Like all the yoga societies, they're chanting, Raghupati Raga, and Durga and Shiva, even Hare Krishna. But to really, for that mantra to really be potent, it has to be received through Guru Parampara. So the prema will come. So it's not an exaggeration to say that today these initiates are getting the most valuable gift they have ever received. What gift have you ever got that destroys karma, uproots material desires, and gives prema? This is a very special gift. The spiritual master, you could say, is giving everything to the disciple. Brihad Bhagavatamrita 2.3.6. Jagadacharanyam sarvam idam prishdaya te dadam sarvam etat prabhavena swayam nastasi lapskase. Very nice verse. The Guru says to the disciple as he initiates him, "O son, you are very dear to me, and therefore I am giving you my entire wealth. By the power of chanting this mantra, all other secrets will automatically be revealed to you." What? Guru is giving all his wealth to the disciple, saying that if you chant this mantra, you'll achieve perfection. Wow, I want it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Therefore, the Guru is giving. If you want, he'll give. One time in the lecture, Prabhupada said, "Here's Krishna, take him." What? Here's Krishna, take him. The yogis can't get him. The jnanis can't get him. The tyagis can't get him. What to speak of the karmis? They turn their backs on him. And Prabhupada said, "Here's Krishna, take him." What? This is like unbelievable. Krishna, he's in Goloka. You have no qualification, no critics. Take him. So that's what's happening here today. Namad Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. There's no difference between the name of Krishna and Krishna. That we have to realize. Prabhupada said, how do we know? When you're chanting Hare Krishna, he said, Krishna's dancing on the tip of your tongue. Good news. But there's some bad news. There's no bad news in Krishna consciousness, but what's the bad news? That there's not only a seed of devotion in the heart, there's lots of weeds, unfortunately. Kaviraj Goswami explains so nicely in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Like in a garden, you have a rose plant, but you see so many weeds. And the rose plant gets choked by those weeds. So the danger is that this tender creeper of devotional service, which comes from the seed of bhakti, it can be choked by material desires. So really what the spiritual master has to do is to spend a lot of time teaching you how to pull out the weeds. Like in a garden, if you're a gardener, before I became a devotee, I was a gardener. And, it was really hard work. That the plants were really beautiful. You could water them and grow. That was easy. The hard part was pulling out the weeds. So the first half of devotional service, it may seem a little austere, a little difficult, we're struggling. Because why? Pulling out the weeds that choke the creeper. So half of Prabhupada's purports are about the material nature, the futility of material existence. Or say 60% or 70% of his purports. And 30% is the positive alternative, Vaikuntha, Goloka. So we have to be honest where we're at in Krishna consciousness. And know what's the next step. And that's the duty of the guru. Pull that weed, pull that weed. Don't forget to water the rose plant. Pull that weed, pull that weed, pull that weed. Don't forget to water the rose. Therefore, we have the do's and the don'ts. Not only does the spiritual master help to awaken love of God within our hearts, but he helps us remove those dangerous weeds. How does he do that? One way is he requests the disciple to give up watering the weeds. No more meat eating, no more intoxication, no more illicit sex, no gambling. Refrain from sinful activity, and those weeds will dry up. If the temptation comes, don't water them. Don't give in to temptation. There's many prayers in the Bible about being tempted. I remember when one of our presidents in the past, Ronald Reagan, and his wife, there was a lot of drug abuse going on at that time also in America. So they came up with a slogan, with this whole anti-drug campaign. And the slogan was, just say no. When the drug pusher comes, just say no. So we're pulling weeds, and if a weed looks like a rose plant, no. And keep watering the rose plant. So chant 16 rounds a day, water the rose plant, and pull the weeds by refraining from sinful activities, gross sensual activity like that. If you don't water a weed, it's not going to grow. So therefore, the initiates today, they're going to make those promises, and they'll make progress. It's scientific. But it's all based on the mercy of the holy names. Because of the mercy of the holy names, we can refrain from sinful activity. And because of the chanting Hare Krishna, we can develop prema. Everything's there in the Maha Mantra. Brihat Bhagavatamrita says, Shuniman nama pabhoshtasya, Shrimurter apyate priyam, Jagatitam shuko pasyam, sarasam tat samam nahi. Really nice verse. Just listen to this. Dear to the Lord than even his own beautiful form. His easily worshipped holy name benefits the entire world. Indeed, nothing is as full of nectar as the holy name of the Lord. Wow, it's all there. Dear to the Lord than even his own beautiful form. His easily worshipped holy name benefits the entire world. Indeed, nothing is as full of nectar as Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. The most beautiful thing, no, go away. I have Krishna. So these verses, these are jewels. One time Prabhupada said, if you memorize a verse and you use it in class 7 times, it's yours. So how wealthy is Vaisheshika Prabhu? He's opened up the treasure chest of all these jewels in our various scriptures because of his sharp mind and keen intelligence and enthusiasm. He's memorized them and he's repeated them thousands of times. So he's decorated with jewels, not like jewelry. You don't ever see Vaisheshika with, earrings, nose ring, rings, necklace. No, he's the real jewels, the shlokas. What a verse. Dearer to the Lord than even his own beautiful form. His easily worshipped holy name benefits the world. Indeed, nothing is as full of nectar as chanting Hare Krishna. So we should keep these verses very close to the heart. They shouldn't go in one ear and out the other. What do you remember from the class? Well, we chanted Jai Radha Madhava. Hello. We're here to learn. Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur accepted Prabhupada because of Prabhupada's keenness in hearing. Yes, he hears nicely. I'll accept him. Because the main connection between the guru and the disciple is the exchange of knowledge. Therefore, Prabhupada says, sometimes Vapu may be there. That's good, but Vani is always there. And there's no difference between Vani and Vapu. The main connection, like the umbilical cord is attached to the baby, the main connection between guru and disciple is the exchange of knowledge. So we have to hear regularly. And that way we can appreciate what's happening today. These candidates are being blessed to chant Hare Krishna. So it's like a jewel. They're getting a valuable jewel, better than all the jewels the Queen of England has. I saw her the other day. She was wearing them all. The crowd was like, whoa. No, if there's a devotee standing nearby softly chanting his japa, that's better than all the jewels of the Queen. And we should sometimes take these jewels out and look at them. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Govind Vanchakalpa Tudubhyascha. All these mantras we have, should take them out. Rupa Goswami recommends that in Padyavali. Viche yani virchar yani, vichet yani puna puna. Kripa nasya dhana niva twana mami bhavantu na. O Lord, just as a miser continually collects, counts, and remembers his money, in the same way, let us continually collect, count, and remember your holy names. Hare Krishna. So, the whole process, Prabhupada summarized this process. Chanting, dancing, and feasting. So nice. Chanting, dancing. But I can't go to the temple, it's been closed. Nothing can stop you. I was in jail for 6 months one time. We went into Spain in 1973, and there was the government of Franco. He was a dictator. And we were doing Harinam on the street with a couple of guests. And we got arrested, and they put us in jail, and they burned our passports in front of us. And they said, you people, we're going to take you to the prison. You're never going to see the day of light, the light of day the rest of your life. That was serious stuff. They took away all our clothes except our kopans. We didn't have japa beads, neck beads, nothing. There were 8 of us. We were there for a long, long time, months, in a cell made for 3 people. We got to bathe once a week and go to the toilet once a day. We had the greatest time of our lives. We get up every morning, 4 o'clock. Couldn't make much noise, or they would pour hot water on us. So what we did is we had a morning program. Silently. We chant our japa silently. We'd cook in our minds because they fed us only bread and water. Cook a feast every morning in our minds, relish it in our minds. We'd go on Sankirtan. Everybody go to part of the cell, face the wall, and meditate on book distribution. We'd meditate on book distribution. We'd come back 3 hours later. How many books? Then we tell the stories. Finally, some prominent lawyer heard about our fate, and he got us out, and they drove us in our kopans out of town, 10 kilometers, and let us out in the forest. We had to walk back into town in our kopans. Ordinarily, people would be embarrassed. We said, we're Babajis. We had kirtan the whole 10 kilometers. And that lawyer met us with a van in town. And he drove us and got us some clothes and paid our airfare back to Paris. What the greatest time of our life. Chanting, dancing, and feasting. Nothing can stop that. Even the pandemic can't stop you from that. And that's our boat for crossing over the ocean. What to speak if we can do it with Indian Association of Devotees and take real Prashadam and go out in San Francisco and distribute books. Whoa, you have everything. So we're crossing over the ocean of material existence, chanting, dancing, and feasting. But sometimes there's stormy weather and the boat may rock back and forth, but don't get discouraged and never jump ship. In times of difficulty, don't even pray for better weather. Because this is Kali Yuga, it's only going to get worse and worse anyway. You think this pandemic is something, I don't want to, make everybody depressed, but wait for the future. This is Kali Yuga. We can make it a little brighter by the Sankirtan movement, but those people who don't listen, they'll continue with their sinful activities and reactions will come. So it's not that we should pray for, better weather. We should just keep our mind fixed on the goal. Like a sailor, the boat's rocking. Oh, but he's thinking of the land. So even in stormy weather, even in difficult times, always remember Krishna and never forget him. Our mind should be fixed on Krishna. Kada drakshyami nandasya. Balakam nipa malakam. Palakam sarva sattvanam. Lasa tilaka balakam. Padyavali. This is how we should be thinking. When will I see Nanda's son? He is the protector of the devotees. He is garlanded with kadamba flowers, and his forehead is decorated with glistening tilak. That's how we should think. But know that the good weather will come back. The good weather will come back if we just keep chanting Hare Krishna. In his Prem Bhakti Chandrika, Narottam says, Apani palabe shaba suniya govinda raba. Simha rabe jane kari gana. All troubles go away by hearing the sound vibration of Govinda's name. Just as a deer flees upon hearing the roar of a lion. One who performs unalloyed devotional service will feel great happiness when chanting Govinda's name. All problems will be vanquished. Everything is there in the holy name. So thank you. I won't go on any longer. I know the ceremony gets more and more nectar, and the names, oh my God, the names I have for these two devotees, oh. And I want my dear Godbrother Vaisheshika Prabhu to speak. But one last important thing, very briefly, it's our tradition to also mention the 10 offenses to the holy names. So I'll just mention those names, those offenses, and we must be very careful to avoid them. To blaspheme devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy names of the Lord. To consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. To blaspheme Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna as imagination, no way. To give some interpretation on the name of the Lord, to commit sinful activities in the strength of chanting, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be some like auspicious ritualist activities mentioned in the Vedas, and to not have complete faith in chanting the holy names. And to maintain those material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. And of course, Jiva Goswami says we should not be inattentive. Why should we be inattentive when we have this great jewel, the mantra in front of us? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki, Shri Guru Parampara ki, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki, back home, back to Godhead ki, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ji ki Go Premanande Shri Krishna Sankirtan Yagya Ki. Thank you. So I'm going to ask my very senior, illustrious, enlightened, educated, visionary, successful godbrother. I'm just a speck of dust under his lotus toes. The all-famous Vaisheshika Prabhu, who many of you have taken shelter of, your good fortune. We'll ask him to speak. And then we have all day. Well, it's a daytime here. I guess we can't say you have all night, but anyway, here in India, it's daytime. And then afterwards, we'll call the initiates forward in the sense before the camera. They'll make their vows, they'll get their names. And then I will also call upon several of my illustrious godbrothers to also speak, or who have helped Madhavan Prabhu come to the stage. It's a wonderful stage that he's at now. And give the names, and we'll just chant and dance, feast, back to Goloka Vrindavan. Thank you. Vaisheshika Prabhu, please.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Viditam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktabinda. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. I offer my humble obeisances to you, Maharaj. You mentioned jewels in the holy name, and you're the jewel that's emanating the holy name all over the world. And we feel it here at ISV just by seeing you and hearing you, that our hearts are opening up and we're feeling that we're coming alive again after this long, dark spell. You've given us such encouragement and optimism, and just by seeing your countenance and feeling your utsahan, we are living by your example, following you, hearing you, and we're extremely grateful to you for keeping us in your orbit. Hare Krishna. Go ahead. That means you agree with what I just said. So it's a heartfelt day for us. We always thought of when the young devotees here will take initiation and what it'll be like, what we'll feel like, and now we know. It feels to us as if we've been growing a garden, and particularly valuable trees, and the fruits are coming out. That's what it feels like to me. It's heartfelt when a gardener actually gets a plant to grow past the seedling stage. That's the most dangerous part, and there are many perils in the garden, as Maharaj was saying. And to come to the point where a soul who's in a young body decides that there's nothing more important than giving everything to Krishna. That's amazing. Shiv Kumar and Manjulakanta, you've installed that garden, and your home has been a place where you've set the example, where you've given the encouragement, you're walking the path yourself, and look at the result. We thank you, all of us thank you very much for your affable spirits and for your examples, and now for bringing Shweka to this point of wanting to surrender and actually surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead through her beloved spiritual master. Hare Krishna. Shweka, you're a bright light for all of us. You have many of the same qualities of your parents. But you're your own person, and you've blossomed. You've blossomed, and now the fruit is coming. That you have your own determination to surrender to Krishna. This is something we've watched in you since you were a little child. My earliest memories of seeing you in plays, enacting the pastimes of Krishna, but you grew up here, and you've gone through much of the process of anarti nivriti here, actually, although you're still, all of us, facing anarti nivriti when we start to chant, but we've watched how you've dealt with various situations in growing up, which are not easy. I remember growing up, there's so many decisions to make about what clothes to wear and how to fit in, or how to, deal with heartbreak or whatever it is. There's all of that for everybody going through growth in this material world. And magnificently, you've done it. Artfully, you've done it. You've stuck to Krishna consciousness. And it's coming from your own volition. And that is amazing. And it's an example for all of us. And I see how others look up to you. They watch you. They hear what you say. And what you say is based on Shastra. It's based on your realizations that you're getting yourself. We couldn't be more pleased. We all feel, sorry if I'm speaking for everybody, but I'm just saying that. But we all feel that what we're doing here together, our little one-horse town temple, where, we live and breathe together and do our level best to do a little something for the Sankirtan movement together. We lean into it as much as we possibly can. All of you do, more than anybody. And we can say today that we feel successful because of your determination, and that you're sitting there today, and this is an eventful day for us here. It's a landmark day. So thank you very much for using your free will to surrender to Krishna. It's amazing, and it's inspiring all of us. And that goes for Madhava, who's also getting initiated today. Is that correct? Madhava. Madhva or Madhava? Madhava. Hare Krishna, Madhava. Thank you very much. We see you, and we're feeling the power of your determination also. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I just got to ask Nirkula to say a couple of words.
Is that okay, Maharaj?
I was going to ask you the same thing, Miracle. You're Guru Mata.
Thank you, Maharaj. Vanchkopa Chubhastra Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. What he said. I'm sitting here, and all these pictures of Shweka are going through my mind. One that keeps coming up is her changing from her devotional garb, her pretty dresses and all for RT on Sundays, And then she'd be in the kitchen scrubbing out the big pots all by herself. Well, I mean, others were around, but her friends were in youth jam or outside playing, and there's Shweka scrubbing away. I remember that, cleaning your heart. And then last summer when, everything was on Zoom, I caught one of the classes that Shweka was giving. It was origami? Yeah. She was teaching the kids origami in the summer camp, and she was so patient. She was so patient, and she was expert. And she has a real gift for teaching. And so this is a big day. You've always been your own person, and I really admire that about you. You've not taken this in a dogmatic way. You've really come to this on your own. You have sought guidance when you felt you needed it. You weren't afraid of that. You knew you had loved ones and well-wishers that you could go to. And likewise, your friends have come to you for good counsel, and you've given good counsel. So I'm very, very proud of you. And going forward, everything you do will be as a representative of your Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and the Parampara. And I have complete faith that you will continue to shine and shine brighter as time goes on. I wish you all the best from my heart, and I look forward to seeing you continue on your spiritual path. Hare Krishna.
Vaisheshika Prabhu, I think that at this point, we can ask Sweka to take her vows.
Okay.
I can't see her. Let me see. Here.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. I vow to follow the 4 regulated principles, namely no meat eating, including fish and eggs, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. I also vow to chant a minimum of 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra every day for the rest of my life.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Sweka. I came into your life a little later than the others. I wasn't so fortunate to see you growing in your early years in Krishna consciousness. I can see that others admired it very much. Anyway, everything happens by the will of the Lord. I often consider myself like someone who's just touching up a painting. Sometimes even the great masters, they would have their trusted student come and add a little here, a little touch there, a little color there. So really the credit here goes to your father, Shiv Kumar Prabhu, your mother, Manjula Kanta, Vaisheshika Prabhu, Mother Guru Mata, who spoke so nicely. She speaks as good as her husband. I have 3 favorite cooks in this movement, and she's one of them. So, look forward to coming back. So, the painting was there, and of course, as Vaisheshika Prabhu was saying, much credit goes to you because you've made this decision. many jivas are born into this movement. And that's something to be acknowledged. Take birth in a devotee family means that in the previous life, one, according to Rupa Goswami, one must have performed devotional service before. But it's one thing to be born in the movement, it's another thing to join the movement. So you were born, but, you know, like I know in America when I was young, we were all Christians, but, you know, we didn't really give our heart and soul to it for whatever reason. We weren't really Christians. You have to, like, in your heart, accept Jesus and, you know, start practicing. So, you know, you were born in the movement, everything's very familiar, but you, like Prabhupada said one time in Rome, I'm just praying that some of my disciples will actually understand my message. When he said that, I almost fell over. What is Prabhupada's message? Beyond just that we're not the body, that we're spirit, soul, we're part and parcel of Krishna. And having that good fortune, knowing that and being trained by Prabhupada, we should share our good fortune with others. That is how I take it with Prabhupada meant. So you have taken this decision. You have taken this decision. And that's something very wonderful. But again, I want to acknowledge your mother and father because they brought you in this world, you know, all those first 5 years, changing diapers and, you know, catching you before you put anything in your mouth. But all the while, you know, as you're growing up, reminding you, telling you Krishna stories and taking you to the temple and making Krishna consciousness fun. That's household life. Making Krishna consciousness fun. And then as the intelligence develops, the child begins to inquire that I really like this way of life. Let me read the books. Let me start chanting. And then when someone's sincere, then for everyone's Krishna sends a spiritual master. And I remember when I came to ISV, I gave a program and then I was asked to address the kids. Oh yeah, I like to address kids. So I was telling some story about a blue fox or something. I mean, it's one of my favorite stories for children. And all of a sudden, this beautiful young girl, walks in with cupcakes. And her mood was, to serve, to please the person who was sitting there. That was me. But I thought, oh, this girl she's so determined. She's done a service to please a guest, to please me, I guess. And there was an immediate connection. Sometimes you can kind of know, like sometimes when many devotees say, when I first time I saw my guru, first time I heard him speak, I knew he was my guru. That happens so many times. So when I saw you, I'll just tell you, I'll say it in public. I thought, she's going to be my spiritual daughter. Maybe you did it. And that's how I've always seen you. And sometimes I see young boys and girls like that, and they choose another spiritual master, but that's okay, because I'm just happy to take someone's hand and lead them 50 meters, 100 meters, a couple kilometers on the way. That's really just, my existence really is just I like helping others on the path of spiritual life. But you approached me and you said, can you be my guru? But you didn't see how happy I was in my heart. Because I like to take on disciples who are really serious. I love to see them grow, just like your parents, Shiva and Manjula, they just enjoyed seeing you grow up into the fine young lady that you are, especially that you're a devotee. So moms and dads, we know these kind of things, we like to see. So I just enjoyed seeing you grow, and a good, excellent example to the youth. So thank you for that, and we wish you all the best. I will be with you all the way. And as I said earlier, as you've taken your vows, I also vow to my disciples that I will not rest until my disciples are back home, back in the spiritual world, at Prabhupada's lotus feet, because for us, the spiritual world means Srila Prabhupada, helping him in his service to Radha and Krishna. So, yeah, so I have a special name for you. I've been keeping it for a couple of years for you. Yeah. It's a number of syllables. It's not just a quick name like Radhe Dasi, or it's a little aristocratic, because I spent many years in France, and in France it's it was a very high culture, so the aristocrats, they had long names. This has a number of syllables in it because I see you becoming a refined devotee, a connoisseur of bhakti, and a messenger of bhakti. So I wanted to give you a beautiful name like that. I'll give you the translation first. I hope all the mridangas and kartals and horns and bugles are ready, and the devatas are up in the sky with baskets of flowers. So your name means servant of the youthful Radhika who sports in the forest bower named Keli Kunja. From this day forth, you shall be known as Keli Kunja Kumari Dasi.
Her Grace Keli Kunja Kumari Devi Her Grace Keli Kunja Kumari Devi Dasi Mataji ki.
Keli Kunja Kumari Dasi Ki.
So that was the name I was keeping, and I had them make that, I asked the devotees to make that frame so you can see your name, how to pronounce it, and remember this day. And there's also a prayer that I put there for you. It's by Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati from his Radharasa Sudhanidhi, verse 14. He writes, I pray that my heart may always find happiness in Srimati Radhika's pastime forest, where the creepers bear flowers that are picked by her own hands, where many charming places bear her footprints, and where the birds passionately sing of her glories. Hare Krishna. It's become a habit in our movement that devotees shorten other devotees' names. I don't know how that happens because these names are so beautiful and they're names of Krishna. And we shouldn't shorten Krishna's names. They're full of transcendental potency. And one time Prabhupada said, yes, even if you can remember your own name at the time of death, you've got a chance for going back to Godhead. So this is a real Brajbasi name, a real name of Vrindavan. So I'd like to request the devotees, if at all possible, to call you by your entire name, Keli Kunja Kumari Dasi. Because they'll say, oh, Keli, but I can do that sometimes, but as far as possible. Oh, Keli Kunja Kumari, can you come here? Oh, Keli Kunja Kumari, can you do this? That cycle. Okay? So yes, congratulations. Let's give her one more round of applause. Well deserved. Can I see your mom and dad? I want to see how they're smiling. Where's Shiv Kumar? Manjula Kampa. Oh. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, if I may say a few
Please.
words to you. Maharaj, I wrote you a letter today morning when I woke up, and I wanted to, because I told Sweka I never spoke to your Maharaj. I need to talk to him, and I never had a chance. And of all the things that I had to do today, that was the one thing I forgot. Forgot to mail it to you, so I will do it as soon as I get home. Maharaj, mothers pray for so many things. A material mother wants so much for her daughter. But a spiritual mother only wants the good stuff. They pray for bhakti. And of all the things that we pray for bhakti, the most important is that she finds her spiritual master. Maharaj, you came at such a difficult time for her during her teenage years. And you walked her through the mist, and you bent down to hold her hand, and you walked her through all the crazy mist of teenagehood and answered all her questions and cleared all her doubts. I have so much to thank you for. I see the love she has for you, and the deep affection, it's not affection, it's deep devotion that she has for you. I feel so blessed to just sit here and watch that journey. Thank you, Maharaj, for answering my prayers and coming for her. Me and my husband, both of us are deeply indebted to you. Deeply indebted to you. Thank you, Maharaj.
So we're going to move eastwards now to El Paso, Texas, for the initiation of another very wonderful devotee who has proved his worth over and over and over and over again by doing what Vaishnavas like to do. They like to help others. They like to help Vaishnavas to begin with. I mean, we're preachers, we want to help the whole world, but we have to take care of our own people, because then they will go out and help others as well. So Madhavan is one such person like that he's a businessman. He's successful, very successful, but he's remained very humble and uncontaminated in the business world. Because you know, business can be cutthroat. He's remained very pure. And he has a wonderful wife, Priya, and she has a wonderful mother, who's a very devout Roman Catholic, whom I very much respect, because in my upbringing in Krishna consciousness in Europe, most of the countries I preached in were Roman Catholic. France, Spain, Italy. On our breaks, I'd always take the devotees to, holy places in the Roman Catholic Church, like Lourdes, and we'd do our bhajans there in the caves, where Ave Maria appeared, the children, and so forth, like that. So, and she has her japa beads. They call them rosaries. So a good family. And we thank Priya herself for standing by her husband through thick and thin, supporting him. She also chants Hare Krishna, Priya, his good wife. She hears the lecture, she comes to the temple, and she's just been a good support for Madhavan. And I can't even tell you how many devotees Madhavan Prabhu has actually helped. I'll leave that up to his mentors, Yashva Prabhu, Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, Jivananda Prabhu. Again, I'm a latecomer. I don't know. It's my good fortune. I come, when everything's pretty much said and done, and you just have to put the little dot on the painting. All the hard work's been done by those men who've given him such shelter. Somehow or other, I don't know how he saw me as his guru. I got the message 20 years down the road. And hearing about him, I immediately agreed, yes, I will accept him. Because he's the same mood as me, which is to be serious about Krishna consciousness and to help others. So it's with great pleasure today that I initiate him. We'll ask Madhavan to say his vows, and then I'll give him a really nice name. His name. And then I'll ask Haryashva, Chaitanya Chandra, and Jivananda Prabhu to speak. They're the ones that should really speak, because they know him best. I know him from what they say, and my times, he's also helped me a lot, Madhavan. But I think these are the men who raised him as an infant in spiritual life and brought him to the point where he can take this big step forward in his spiritual life. It's like now there's four of us. You can put Haryashva in front and Chaitanya, Chandra, and Jivananda. They can be on the two sides. I'll be in the back of them. And the four of us will push them forward from the path back home, back to Godhead. So this is the last time. Last time I'm going to be calling you Madhavan. I believe that was the name that your parents, all glories to your parents as well, that your parents gave you. So this is a big moment, a big moment. A lot of devotees love you. And they're very happy that you're taking this. What did Neil Armstrong say? A little step for man, but a great step for mankind. So this is a big step in your spiritual life, gigantic step forward. And we're all here to help you, Madhavan. So please, what are the 4 rules and regulations you promise to follow for the rest of your life? And how many rounds of this glorious, precious jewel of the Maha Mantra will you chant every day?
Krishna Gurudev, promise to follow the 4 regulated principles of no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication, to chant a minimum of 16 rounds.
Okay, thank you. I'm very... to accept you as my duly initiated disciple. You are now formally part of this great sampradaya, and thus you get the mercy of so many great souls. Just like if you take a plug and you put it into the socket, then the electricity goes freely all the way through that line to its destination. So our destination is Sri Krishna in the spiritual world. But along that line, there's a current of mercy flowing down from the Lord through our Guru Parampara. So by taking initiation, it's not just your spiritual master. You have free access to the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Gorkha Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Like this is the importance of initiation, that we get this free flow of mercy, this guidance from all these great souls. So really, as I was saying earlier, this is the most important day in your existence since you fell from grace. And we're all very happy for you. And I'm sure that you're going to feel empowered to, in your sadhana and your practices of Krishna consciousness, and in this wonderful gift that the Lord has given you, this sense of compassion for others. And that's actually the crescent jewel in all of a devotee's qualities. It distinguishes him or her from all other classes of transcendentalists, with all due respect to the jnanis and the yogis and the tyagis. They're all great souls because they realize the futility of material life and they're doing their best to transcend it. So that's wonderful, but a Vaishnava, while transcending, extends his hand or her hand to bring others to the same stage and take them back home. Prabhupada said the duty of a first-class man is to make a fifth-class man also first-class man. So from the beginning of your career as a devotee, when devotees are in need, you're there to help them. I don't even know how much of your wealth you've shared with others. But the fact is that more has come. And that's spiritual mathematics. 1 minus 1 equals 1,000. And you've experienced that. So, money is hard to come by. It's like blood. It's hard to give your blood away. But you don't ever hold back. I just saw the other day you gave a nice donation in my name to the cow protection program and other things. So, as far as possible, you continue in that way as you can. You continue in that way, helping others. There's somebody, I'm sure many devotees approach you. You have to be a little careful. You have to be wise. And Swami said you have to keep some percentage for yourself for old age. But you know all these things. You have that knack. Like somebody has a green thumb for gardening, you have a way to attract the wealth and share it amongst devotees. So many devotees love you because you help them in time of need. Not only in time of need, but just in their dreams to preach. Because Prabhupada said preaching means men, money, and capital. So you're an important man in the Sankirtan movement, and I'm very proud to accept you as a son, as a spiritual son, and encourage you all the way. And I, as I always say, will not rest until you're home. Sometimes the spiritual master has to come back. I don't mind coming back. My world is full of joy serving my spiritual master in this hellish world. I'm not naive, I see it as hell, but I'm just happy serving Prabhupada, doing what he did when he came to this world. Whoever Prabhupada is in the spiritual world, we don't know, but when he was here, we know what his heart was, and that was spreading Krishna consciousness. So by serving his desires here, we qualify ourselves one day to serve his desires in the spiritual world. So let's all work together. All of us work together to serve Srila Prabhupada. That guarantees our eternal life in the spiritual world. And welcome on board the transcendental Jaladuta back to the spiritual sky. So I have a nice name for you. It's connected to Lord Nrsingadev. But wait a minute, you're a very gentle soul. I can't give you a name like Shtamba Das, Ugra Shtamba, the Lord coming out of the pillar. With crimson blood dripping from his cloth. I couldn't give you that. But it's so close to Nrsingadev's appearance day. So this is the meaning of your name. Servant of Prahlad Maharaj, the dearmost devotee of Lord Nrsinga, the half-man, half-lion incarnation of the Lord, whose mane hairs glow with a wonderful brilliance. From this day forth, you should be known as Keshava Priyadas.
His Grace Keshava Priyadas Prabhu Ki.
Keshava is a name for Krishna, meaning the name Keshava means one who has beautiful hair. So Krishna is the most beautiful of anyone. Every part of his body is supremely beautiful. And here's your frame. Here's your frame. Like we gave one to Galia. There you go. You want to hold it up for everybody? They can see it. Keshava is a name for Krishna because he has beautiful hair. But one thing the acharyas always point out about Lord Nrsingadev, his mane is very beautiful. That's the Lord, Nrsingadev's hairs are his mane. And they're always glowing, very brilliant. Sometimes he's called Jwala Nrsinga because fire comes from his body. That fire comes from his mane. So Keshava in that sense, servant of Prahlad Maharaj, the dearmost devotee of Nrsinga, the half-man, half-lion incarnation of the Lord, whose mane hairs glow with the wonderful brilliance. So therefore your name's connected to Prahlad, because servant of, and his Lord, Narasimhadev, beautiful mane. Keshava Priyadas, hey! And I included a verse on your frame as well, a prayer that we sing 3 times a day. The Das Avatar Stotram, text 4 by Jayadev Goswami. O Keshava, O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of half man, half lion. All glories to you. Just as one can easily crush a wasp between one's fingernails, so in the same way the body of the wasp-like demon Hiranyakashipu has been ripped apart by the wonderful pointed nails on your beautiful lotus hands. So Nrsingadev will protect you on your path of devotion And Prahlad Maharaj will continue to bless your soft heart in sharing your good fortune with others. Wonderful name, Keshava Priya. Wow, Hare Krishna. Thank you. That's very, very, very important that we hear from those mentors. My senior godbrothers, they're all, I worship them. I bow down, put their feet, 2, 4, 6 feet on my head right now, the dust of their feet. Haryashva Prabhu, who couldn't love him? He's love personified. Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, Jivananda Prabhu, just to say these names, your hair stands on it, illustrious godbrothers. So please, Haryashva Prabhu, if you could speak, then Chaitanya Chandra, then Jivananda. Please enlighten us about this wonderful devotee and his very beautiful and faithful wife.
Anyway, basins, Swami's Indradyumna Swami, basis by His Grace Vaisheshika, basis Chandra, basis Maharaj. So, Keshava Priya Das, you've done everything for me. You've drained everything from me, Maharaj. You've given me what I was looking for in life. It's been 20 years. I met Keshava Priya Das in 2000. And he was a student, a finance student at Temple. He came to the program, to our Wednesday program. And he had a different idea in mind about life. He wanted to have fun. He wanted to enjoy. And we had a lot of enjoyment taking place there because he also had love for Prashadam. So he would just come and take tons of Prashadam, and he loved kirtan. Then he told me about his mother, his mother Rukmini. His mother would go to the temple. His mother wanted him to worship Krishna. His mother wanted him to be a servant of God. As I said, he had a different idea. But from hanging with the devotees, very quickly, he showed his level of responsibility. He started arranging preaching programs at Temple, preaching to the other friends that he had, and opening programs at the University of the Arts. Then, anyways, countless, the restaurant. I told him one thing, that the process was Kevala Ananda Kanda, simply joyful. Let's have fun. So we had tons of fun. And at a certain point, he began to help in the restaurant, constantly serving. And the quality that I liked, there's a couple qualities I liked the most about him. One was that he just quickly fell in love with Srila Prabhupada. And that used to just rock my world. How does this young man love Prabhupada so? And the other point was that he was just so soft. He just was soft, but he wanted to serve. He liked serving the devotees. Anyway, fast forward. There's been years of service. Then I've only seen him become very antsy with me in two occasions. I've always looked at him as my younger brother and treated him with nothing but affection. And in that way, he could do what I asked him to do, or he didn't have to do it because I'm only his older brother. And he would do those things. He would surrender. But the first thing he told me is that I have to leave. I have to go to Vail and ask Priya to marry me. I said, really? She used to come to the program too. And then he showed the ring. I said, wow, is that serious? Okay, go get it done. So he went to Vail, got Priya. And after that, I'd go to Vail. And then he left Vail and he continued because, he was doing his business. And he went here to El Paso. And because he loved to serve the devotees, then Chaitanya Chandra, Jivananda Maharaj, and they began to give him that love and affection. So when I look at it, I know this isn't a single endeavor. And 2 years ago, as you know, he told me, he says, Hayashri says, I got to get initiated. And I thought, well, you're going to get initiated about it. He said, remember when Indradyumna Swami came and we went to see him, they went to see you in Times Square. And one time you were preaching so heavy, you used to come to Philadelphia. And so we were studying your book. And at that particular event, you gave him your shoes to hold. And he said, okay. And then later he gave your shoes back. Fortunately for us all, he gave back the shoes, but he decided he needed the lotus feet. So the second time he became antsy with me is when he told me that he needed to become your disciple. And we went to Vrindavan to your place, and I couldn't find you. And he just started getting really, really antsy with me. You know, I told you I need to become his disciple. I felt bad. And then finally, Chaitanya Chandra, he wrote you. I wrote you a bad letter late one night. And finally, he let us know that he accepted. So for me, there's no greater joy than knowing that your younger brother does the right thing in life. And when it comes to you, do you know how my heart swelled when he decided that he was going to be your disciple? Because you know I love you. And you know I'm always looking for the opportunity to serve you. So now it's just perfect. I'm so grateful to you. I'm grateful to Vaisheshika Prabhu. I'm grateful to all the devotees who have helped him on this journey. And I'm grateful to Priya, because this would not have happened if he didn't have Priya with him. Thank you so very much. All glory to Shri.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I think so. I'm obeising to this. Vaisheshika Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Wow. This is such a, excuse me. This is such a great occasion.
How light you can turn out.
I remember, I forget how many years ago it was, when Madhava first asked me to try and connect with Indradyumna Swami somehow or other. And the first time I think I spoke to you was at the beautiful, beautiful event that y'all put on in Dallas with your beautiful drama troupe. That was so amazing. And you were sitting there in the aisle, and I walked there and I spoke to you for a minute about it. And I gave some information to somebody. And so then that's been, I don't know how many years ago that was when you were in Dallas, but that was a little bit of time. And then maybe how long, a year or so ago, he again asked me, Chaitanya, it's not happening. I haven't been able to connect with Maharaj yet. So can you please help me? So then I spoke with Jivananda, and Jivananda said, yes, I'll do it. And then something came up and he wasn't able, or I'm not sure if he did or not, but I didn't hear anything about it. So then again, he was asking me to help. And then he came to Dallas during COVID a few months back. And we sat down in the park in Kalachandji Park, and he again was very serious about it. So that's when I texted you right then. I went home and sent you a text, and you instantly answered me, and we're so happy. That was like a celebratory moment for sure. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavats, Vaisheshika Prabhu, Dandavats. It's amazing. You two are so potent. It's almost like you being here, even though you're so far away, and this is through the internet. Your potency is still just as if you were here. So I think I met Keshva Priya Prabhu in 2009.
I was coming through El Paso, and I was staying in a converted garage with about 4 other people I was traveling with. And so immediately he said, "Where are you staying?" And I told him. He said, no, you have to move into my hotel. So he moved us in, immediately started to see after us. And I could see as time went by, this is just his nature, to serve the devotees, to do whatever possible to spread Lord Chaitanya's movement. At that time, he was living he and Priya were living in a hotel room. And even though they were in a hotel room, he had a lot of Krishna deities, which he took with him to college when he came to the United States. And so from those days, his service improved or increased and increased and improved. And constantly, every time I was coming through El Paso, he would give me a place to stay. Several places in Texas, New Mexico. He's been extremely important to my preaching. He's one of the kindest, most pleasant living entities that I've ever met. He reminds me of Krishna. He's got that sweet grin that Krishna has. He's always, whenever you see Keshava Priya Prabhu, it's going to take a while to get off of the Madi. We always called him Madi. Madi's gone. So Keshava Priya Prabhu. Whenever I've seen him or even thought about it, my heart has always been happy. Wonderful wife, Priya Mataji. She's a sweet entity. They make a wonderful couple. They have worked hard for so many years. This couple goes 100 miles an hour every day, all day. It's not an easy life. They work very hard. They have tremendous responsibilities, and they share it. They share it so well. So I admire it. And I'm just very, very thankful, Maharaj, that you take it upon yourself to initiate him. We were going to hook the two of you up personally for Viva Cultura. We were going to try to get Viva Cultura to come to El Paso after you and I met in Knoxville. So I thought this would be a great time to hook you guys up. But that didn't work. And then COVID, and here we are. So thank God that Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu took the initiative to get the ball rolling. And so here we are. And we're all very happy for Keshava Priya Prabhu and Priya Mataji. And thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you, Vaisheshika Prabhu. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
I want to add a little something to those two emotional foresight. That when I started coming here to El Paso around 11 years ago, he always supplied us with a wonderful room in the kitchen so we could cook Prashadam. And we were doing these programs. I did programs in his conference rooms. And there's a couple other devotees here, and we would invite several people to come. And of course, he would always come, and Priya would come. And we'd always have wonderful feasts. And that was one of the wonderful pastimes I used to enjoy, was bringing Madhava extra Prashadam sometimes to his office. And he was always supporting us and helping us and sponsoring books. Many books, and this went on for years. I was coming, like I said, this is like the 11th year. So every time we come, he's fully supportive. He's helping pay for all the festivals. We had a fabulous Janmashtami a couple of years ago. Was it 2 or 3? And we have a doctor, our doctor friend here, Dr. Shova. She let us use this beautiful house. It's like this yoga house, big, huge, beautiful house with a nice. And Madhava sponsored. We spent several days cleaning and had this beautiful festival. Our Krishna Charan and Kim and so many of the helpers. And it was so sweet. It was like Krishna was there, and it was so sweet. You could just cut it with a knife. And everybody felt like Krishna was just creating this, and he sponsors everything. We bought hundreds of dollars worth of beautiful flowers that he sponsored and all the nice prashadam. So he's always been completely giving all the time. to make sure that we can do these festivals and these programs and to support, our little preaching efforts here in El Paso. Now I have a beautiful home that Prashadam who purchased, and Madhav is helping us all the time with these programs. Excuse me, Kesava Priya. Sorry. Yeah, we used to. So we have lots of love for Kesava Priyadas and Priya, his wife. We are looking forward to coming here and continuing the preaching for many years, and hopefully Maharaj, maybe even Vaishesha, we can both come.
Yeah.
And at some point in time. Thank you very much again. Hare Krishna.
They often say in our Vedic culture, we often say that the husband and wife are one. Sometimes it's said the wife's the better half. So please note the harmony in their names. We have Keshava Priya and we have Priya. So this is the harmony in their relationship, like one serving the Vaishnav community so nicely. Priya, would you like to say something, Priya? All right. Are you too shy? You can say something. No? Yes?
Very happy for Keshava Priya. For his new path.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being so supportive. So, Vaisheshika Prabhu? Vaisheshika Prabhu, I think we can start the yajna now. Oh, Keshava?
Hare Krishna.
We'll start the yajna now.
Marj, with your permission, we'll take a 3-minute break.
A 3-minute break, okay.
Yeah, devotees need to stand up for a minute so they can concentrate on the yajna. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama
Stop.
Rama Hare
Hare Krishna. Now we'll begin the Homa. So everyone please take your seats. Prabhu, can somebody give him an asan, please? Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Have some, please pull out 4 Bhagavatams. Put them in 1, 2, 3, 4. Somebody sit in each corner and read out loud. Bhagavatam, please. Need somebody here, 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 and here. Just start reading. And then please start a little Harinam Kirtan quietly, please. See, we just distributed a set.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Rama
Om Narayanaaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Hare Krishna
Om Varunaya. Ihavaha, Ihavaha. Ihatishta, Ihatishta. Ihasani Dehi, Ihasani Dehi. Ihasani Rudasva, Ihasani Rudasva. Iha Samimukho Bhava, Iha Sammukho Bhava. Chant.
Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama
Savana Vavatu, Savana Bhunaktu, Sahavirya Karabhavahai, Tejasvinam Vaditam Mastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Swastino Govinda Swastino Chutanantao Swastino Vasudeva Vishnu Dharatu Swastino Narayano Narovai Swastina Padmarabha Purushottam Dharatu Swastino Vishwakshena Vishveshwaraha Swastino Hrishikesho Harer Dharatu Swastino Vainathayo Harihi Swastino Jana Sato Hanur Bhagavatu Dharatu Swastino Vainathayo Harihi Swastino Ananjana Satu Hanur Bhagavatu Dharatu Swasti Swasti Sumangalai Kesho Mahan Shri Krishna Sakshiranandana Sarveshwareshwaro Dharatu Karotu Swasti Me Krishna Sarvalokeshwareshwaraha Karshnadayasta Swasti Me Lokapanavaha. Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare
Om Vaishnava Namagni Ihavaha Ihavaha Ihatishta Ihatishta Ihasani Dehi Ihasani Rudasva Ihasamuko Baba Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Bhava. You'll be offering grains, so sit as close as you need to be able to place them in the fire and use your fingers like this and the thumb. Om swaha. Idam Vishnave idam namama. Om Bhuva swaha. Idam Achutaya idam namama. Om swaha. Idam Narayanaya idam namama. Om Bhuva swaha. Idam Anantaya idam namama. Everyone, please repeat after me. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Vidlitam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Swaha 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 Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Dena Bhutale Swayambrupa Kadahmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Swaha 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 Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Swaha 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 Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Indradyumna Swami Iti Namine Swaha Swaha Swaha. Is there more pranam? Say the rest. Namo Prabha. Go ahead. Say the whole thing.
Nama Prabhupada Priyadashaya Jagannatha Yatra Nandamurtaya Bhakta Sukhaya Krishna Kirtanena Narasimhena Rakshitaya Namaha.
Swaha Swaha Swaha. Is there any more? More? Do the next one. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Swaha Swaha Swaha. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Swaha Swaha Swaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Swaha Swaha Swaha. Shri Barshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Swaha 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 Madhuryo Jwala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Swaha 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 Namaste Gauravani Shimurtai Dinartarine Rupanuga Viradhapa Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Swaha 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 Namo Gorakishoraya Sakshat Vairagyamurtaye Vipralambara Sambode Padam Bujayate Namaha Swaha 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 Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sakchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Swaha 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 Gaura Virvava Bomestvam Nirdesa Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Swaha 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 Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhu Pyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Swaha 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 Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratushe Namaha Swaha 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 Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Swaha 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 Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Swaha 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 Jayatam Suratam Pang Suratau Pangor Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarvasva Padambojao Radha Madana Mohanao Swaha 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 Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnakara Singhasanastao Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Deva Prishtalibi Sevyamano Smarami Swaha Swaha, Swaha, Shriman Rasarasarambhi Vamshivata Tatastitaha Karshan Venu Swaner Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestunaha Swaha, 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 Tapta Kanchana, Gaurangi, Radhe, Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhanu, Sute Devi, Pranamami, Hari Priye, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Swaha 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 Om Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha 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 Om Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha 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 Om Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha 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 Om Bhu Swaha Idam Vishnave Idam Namama Om Bhuva Swaha Idam Achutaya Idam Namama Om Swa Swaha Idam Narayanaya Idam Namama Om Bhuva Swa Swaha Idam Anantaya Idam Namama. Now, please stand up for the Purnahuti. You take your banana with you. Just a little. And come close to the fire. Okay, one sec. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagatitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Please place the banana in the fire with your right hand. Swaha Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardanam Yat Pujitam Maya Devam Paripurnam Tarastu Me. Go Premanande. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. A few at a time. Put them all, there'll just be a traffic jam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. More kartal. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Louder. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Fire. Take it out. Take it out. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Shri Harinam Mahamantra Ki, Shri Harinam Prabhu Ki, Gaura Premanande, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakachaja Ashtotarasta Shishimad Bhai Charanada Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakachaja Ashtotarasta Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Sagaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrindaki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gokopinath Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Sambheda Bhaktivinoda Ki, Srila Indradyumna Maharaj Ki, Srila Indradyumna Maharaj Ki, Srila Indradyumna Maharaj Ki. Go Premanande, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ji Ki Jai, Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Ki Jai. Go Premanande Haribo. Sing the string of prayer. A quick version. A fast version.
Namaste Narashingaya. Oh Namaste Narashingaya. Praladadadaine. Hiranyakashipurvakshah. Hiranyakashipurvakshah. Oh Shilajankanakalaye. Shilajankanakalaye. Hito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha. Hito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha. Yato yato yami tato Nrsimha. yato yato yami tato Narsinga. Bayu Narsinga, Hridayu Narsinga. Bayu Narsinga, Hridayu Narsinga. O Narsinga Madim Sharanam Papade. O Narsinga Madim Sharanam Papade. Tava Kara Kamala Varenaka Madhuta Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubingam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha Jaya Narahari Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha Jaya Narahari. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Bhakta Prahlad. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. Bhakti Vignash Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki, Bhakti Shramani Prahlad Maharaj ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
I'd just like to thank all the devotees this evening, your time, for gracing this very auspicious ceremony today. Especially again, Vaisheshika Prabhu, thank you so much for being present for all of us, all the time. Miss you. All you devotees who were there with Vaisheshika Prabhu and Guru Mata, you're blessed. You're very fortunate. We expect you to make rapid progress in Krishna consciousness and show us all the example, what it means to be a very blissful devotee. So this has been so wonderful, and we thank the devotees also there in El Paso, Texas. The fire yajna wasn't there, it was in ISV, but the potency was there. So this is a full-on initiation. Everyone is fully initiated. So it's been wonderful. And I want to say to Kali Kunja Kumari and Keshava Priya Das that your beads have arrived in America. I just got a message from DHL on my phone that the beads have arrived in America. They're with Rasika Siromani and Govinda Charan in their house. I think they're arriving tomorrow. These beads are from Radhakund. I have one close friend out there, Babaji, who lives there, a nice Vaishnava. He carves beads, and in each bead he carves in Radharani's name. So each the 108 beads has the name of Radha there. Give me a sec. And the head bead as well. So these beads he has taken his time to do. I've asked him, and we've dipped them in the Prem Sarovara, in the liquid love of Radhakund and Shamakund, and then back in Radhakund. And we've rubbed them in Brajrenu, which is the sacred dust of Sri Vrindavan Dham, one of the 5 personalities who grants us entrance there. And I've done my best to chant in each bead. And I took about 20 minutes to chant in each set of beads. As Prabhupada was saying to Pushta Krishna Prabhu, all 32 syllables, I'd like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So this is what your beads look like. You see how the name of Radha is there. And here's the head bead. So DHL has facilitated the desires of the devotees, and those beads will be available for you. I'd just like to thank you once again. It's almost like being there. It's like 82%. And I look forward in the near future to visit El Paso, Texas, to see my beloved spiritual son, Keshav Priya, and his good wife, Priya, and come to ISV, see Kali Kunja Kumari, all the youth, all the wonderful devotees, and chant and dance with you in ecstasy, and take Guru Mata's Prashadam. So thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for blessing this ceremony today. Hare Krishna. I can't hear them.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. We'll be counting the days until we see you here. And now we have virtual Prashadam for everybody. Sharira dvijaja jodendriya taheka jibe pele vishaya shokore tarmadye divayati lobha moy sudurmati Take jeta katita samsare Krishna borodoya moy kori bare chihwa jay Swaprasadana dilobai Shayanamrita pao Radha Krishna Guna Gao Preme Dako Shri Chaitanya Itai Paire Karina Shanti Pure Prabhu Advaitera Gare Dui Prabhu Bojani Boshilo Shakori Ashwadana Prabhu Bole Bhakta Gana Eshak Krishna Ashwadhila Heno Shakashwadane Krishna Prema Aise Mane Se Preme Koro Ashwadan Jada Buri Parihari Prasara Bojana Kori Hari Hari Bolo Sarvajan Hari Hari sarva jan. Ma prashade govinde nam brahmani vaishnave salpa punya vatam rajan vishvaso navijaya prasade sarva tukanam hanirasya upajayate prasana chetaso yashu buddhiparya prajishtate tvayo prabhukta shakanda vasulam charchita uchishta bojino dasas davamayam jayemahi Bhagavat Shri Mahaprasada ki Goda Premanande Nitai Goda Haribo 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 Nitai Goda Haribo. Please come take Prashadam Haribo. Vanchakalpadrusha Kripasandhavevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo.
The recording has stopped.